Thanks for tuning back in. I'm Tommy Campbell, still bald, still in my basement, and still loving all the comments from awesome liberals who make sandwiches. George Santos, former roommate, alleges that the congressman ran a massive ATM fraud scheme. And when I say ATM, I mean automated teller machine, in case there was any confusion if this was about a human centipede knockoff or one of those over 18 fan sites. Yes, it's the latest thing for George Santos Goldbergstein, aka Anthony Devolder, aka Katara Ravachey, to try and weasel out of. Don't eat the donuts. This is fantastic. Ron Desantis takes the stage and someone removes the podium and he doesn't know what to do. Look at the loss as it's taken away. You see, DeSantis on stage without a podium leaves him as confused as Grandma Bobo on stage without a pole.
All right, well, they took that. Okay. Did you take my podium away from me? They took the podium. Well, it's great to be with you. Greetings from the free state of Florida.
We want the podium back.
My theory is that he needs the podium so he can hide the platform heels he wears that are so big he probably uses the same shoe store as Kiss. It is pouring MAGA tears. George Santos may have pivoted from purchasing puppies from Amish farmers to a credit card scam. This case is wild, and I have a lot of fun discussing it. I mock the attempts by Fox to drum up support for DeSantis, play a new round of Choose Your Fighter by popular demand. I have a hilarious new genuine page from Lauren Boebert's book, and more.
Watch the Totally Woke Oscars, everything, everywhere, all at once. I've shouted this at Eric for years when I fill my diaper.
This is really cool.
Faux news, I think is how I think you pronounce it faux news now.
Faux news what?
Faux. Instead of Fox, it's now pronounced as of that day, faux news.
Tom Selleck's slow cousin is not getting the joke because he struggles with English, so one French word? No way. Just stop. Just stop. This is way too complex. A former roommate of volleyball star George Santos is claiming that the New York congressman orchestrated a 2017 credit card skimming operation that came to an end after a 3-day crime spree in Seattle. I am coming forward today to declare that the person in charge of the crime of credit card fraud when I was arrested was George Santos, Anthony Devolder. Gustavo goes on to say, Santos taught me how to skim card information and how to clone cards. He gave me all the materials and taught me how to put skimming devices and cameras on ATM machines. Automated teller machines. At the time of his arrest, he had a fake Brazilian ID card, and back in his hotel room was 10 suspected fraudulent cards. An open FedEx package was found by police in his rental car that was sent from the very apartment in Florida that he shared with George Santos. For those not familiar with this scam, it takes two things: a fake front that looks very close to where you insert your card, and then a small camera that gets your PIN. I was not really that aware of this sort of crime until I moved to London in 2005, and my mind was like blown at the level of sophistication. And with each visit back to the US, I was even more mind blown that this scam had not made its way back there yet. Chip and PIN was introduced for cards in 2004 in the UK, tap in 2007, and yet in many places in the USA, waiters still walk away with your card. This is insane. Never let a credit card out of your sight. Ever. According to Gustavo's declaration, he met Santos in the fall of 2016 on a Facebook group for Brazilians living in Orlando, Florida. That is when and where I learned from him how to clone ATM and credit cards. He had a lot of material, parts, printers, blank ATM and credit cards to be painted and engraved with stolen account and personal information. Santos gave me at his warehouse some of the parts to illegally skim credit card information. Right after he gave me the card skimming and cloning machines, he taught me how to use them. According to law enforcement records, Gustavo took the operation to Seattle, where a security camera caught him removing a skimming device from a Chase ATM on Pike Street. Gustavo recalls Santos warning he could make things worse for him since he was already in jail and Santos was a U.S. citizen. According to an audio recording of the proceeding in court records, George Santos lied to a Seattle judge about working for Goldman Sachs. Not true. And also told the judge, "We're family friends. Our parents know each other from Brazil," Santos said. Also not true. The court confirms George was in town, and so does this Domino's review he left. 1 hour viewing the tracker. Not move. Very, very slow. Giving the time ordered late night. Called the store. Was on hold for 35 minutes with no answer. Never order from this store. Not worth the aggravation. Yeah, the incorrect spelling pretty much confirms it was him. In his declaration, he said Santos did not help me to get out of jail. He also stole the money that I'd collected for my bail. Gustavo told Politico that Santos went to Orlando to pick up 20 grand in cash from another roommate because Santos had promised to hire, wait for it, El Chapo's lawyer. The third roommate in that apartment says that Santos did come for the money. But El Chapo's lawyer never appeared in Seattle. In fact, no lawyer showed up, and he felt powerless because he was an undocumented immigrant, and Santos was leveraging this against him and others. In Gustavo's declaration, he also said the deal with Santos was 50% for him and 50% for me. We used a computer to be able to download the information on the pieces. We also used an external hard drive to save the filming because the skimmer took the information from the card and the camera took the password. George Santos' roommate was unable to post a $75,000 bail. He pleaded guilty to felony access device fraud, served 7 months in jail, and was deported to Brazil in early 2018. Don't eat the donuts. Donald Trump continues his post-presidency gig as a wedding crasher, and thanks to our Soros funding, my software has fixed the previous inaudible audio from the latest Mar-a-Lago nuptials. Let's take a look.
I'm totally holding her hand and pretending she's mine, all mine. And I have bridal suite spy cameras here at Mar-a-Lago, and that does mean I'll be watching your special night and pretending I'm with you delivering a sore-covered mushroom. Okay, what do you say? Get rid of the camera and I just go in there and do it myself, okay? Huh? Should we do it? Get these diapers off.
Pine 11 survivor and recent regulation enthusiast Brian Kilmeade made the rounds at this Florida Metro diner, hoping to get some folks to say they're all in for Desantis, and everyone said Trump. Even the one in the Desantis shirt said either would be fine. Okay, so the place goes under attack. We're talking Die Hard style. Choose your fighter. Is it going to be smell my armpits, Jesus for Trump, camera wrong way guy, woman trying to choke herself out, or natural redhead? Let me know in the comments. Literally a softball interview with Ron DeSantis. It's clear Fox is all in for Ron, but that's no shocker since we now know exactly how they feel about Trump since it was exposed that Tucker Carlson said, "I hate him passionately." Seriously, we haven't seen this much shoulder rubbing since Mike Lindell sat down with hotel waiter dressed Donald Trump for their low-budget, primetime, hostage-looking interview. For all my regular viewers and those new to the show, thank you. I'm glad you found me. For several months, I've been reading a genuine page from Lauren Boebert's book. I do this once a week, and it's been pretty wild. In this section, we are at her place of work, about to search for an intentionally missing hamster. Let's get back to it. Still up here on the main pole at Lady Buns, suspended in time, restricting my moves so not to smash the hamster in my denim shorts pocket because hamsters don't bend. And Mountain Dew's yearly hide-and-go-seek game is just around the corner, and I want him to live to see it. In this moment, I've been reflecting so much. You see, there's a mirror on the ceiling, and when you go upside down, you can just look at your stuff. It's very popular for the superfans in the front row and tricky for some people. I remember Jason telling Don Jr. about the ceiling mirror, and they agreed it was such a waste of a good surface for doing party stuff. But it wasn't just my bits in the shimmering ceiling. I was reflecting on my life in this tequila-fueled moment before it all comes crashing down when Craig's pool net yanks me off the A pole. As mentioned, the main use of the B pole was swooping up those dollar bills after the Rocky Mountain Broadway topless tornado, and it was one of my janitorial duties here as I worked my way up the ranks. Craig may have not thought that I was night hot, but I definitely had my admirers, and one of those was my top secret side piece, Ted Cruz. One evening, Ted Cruz dropped in to say hello to his petit oignon and catch a bit of the water, wind, and women during the topless tornado show. Well, it was a good thing Ted was wearing his rain poncho, from when he does all the tough guy stuff on boats at the border, because he was directly in the splash zone. He loved it, though. But his tipping caused some serious drama. Ted had recently visited his family at his place of birth in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and had a pocket of that Trudeau money. Like any decent man with a wet and windy woman in his face, he knew he had to tip the working gal. But his make-it-rain plans was more like a hailstorm, since he threw a handful of $1 and $2 coins at the poor girl. Well, I shouldn't say poor. It was a lot of money, even with the exchange rate from socialism to capitalism. But coins aren't all soft like my hubs without his pill. They are very hard, and this was trouble. It was like a fairy tale. If you've enjoyed this genuine page from Low Rent Booze Burp's latest book, let me know in the comments, and I'll see about reading another sometime soon.
So I would literally start calling, not from the day I took over, but from the night I won. And I'd call two people. You know who the two people are? Putin, right? You know who Putin is? And Zelensky. And I'd say, we're going to meet. We're going to meet. And I guarantee I could work that out. I guarantee. I know exactly what I'd say, by the way. I know exactly. I tell one guy this, and I tell one guy that, and I say, you better make a deal. We would have a deal made in 24 hours.
Is it just me, or was he pinching a loaf on that? We're gonna meet. This is all just like some bad George Santos improv at a job interview. Trump's plan is just to give Putin whatever he wants and for Zelensky to deal with it. LOL, Trump never said anything like that. Show me. MAGA Tears. Fauci, gain of function. Google it. MAGA Tears. The violation of national election law of unlawfully extending the 2020 general election beyond the lawful election day or 24-hour period by the PA Supreme Court and the SCOTUS was no lie. It's a fact, and it's disenfranchised all American voters by fraudulently allowing the counting of unlawful late votes. MAGA Tears. You wouldn't last at CPAC. Try and show your face there next year, bud. MAGA Tears. Thanks so much for watching. Help me out by sharing this video and following me on social media. This costs you nothing and makes a huge difference. I am a one-man show here, from script to screen, the editing, even the graphics. If you can afford to, please throw me a tip with the easy PayPal link or hit that super thanks button, and be sure to check out my merch that go great with those MAGA Tears. I am a stand-up comedian. I've played in 35 countries, have toured with Jim Jeffries for nearly 10 years, and I have 3 albums that you can stream on Spotify and Apple Music, or catch them on SiriusXM. Thanks for watching. Life's short, be cool, be kind, take care.